Like you watch the news and no matter what's on, you can't care. Like you try to, but it just 30,000 Chinese people died in an earthquake, and you're like, oh my God.
Hi there, and welcome to Juicy Celeb Talks. Patrice O'Neal was renowned for his bold and unapologetic approach to comedy. His style, often described as provocative, fearlessly tackled sensitive subjects like race, sexuality, relationships, and societal norms. He had a knack for saying whatever he pleased, regardless of who it might offend, earning him the reputation as one of the most fearless comedians of his time. I remember this one time he walked up to a woman with a scar on her forehead, pointing it out without hesitation, even as she felt embarrassed. He didn't stop there, though. He kept needling her verbally, pushing her buttons for a whole hour, effortlessly keeping her off balance with each jab. What set Patrice O'Neal apart was his raw honesty. He had a talent for delving into uncomfortable truths and taboo topics, challenging societal norms and expectations. But why was such a controversial comedian so highly respected in the industry? He had his own truth, his own reality, and he wasn't going to compromise on it for anyone. It's like a giant void was left when he passed away because I truly believed he was the funniest person alive. So, what made him the headliner and the showstopper? Let's delve into it. Patrice Lumumba Malcolm O'Neal, born on December 7, 1969, was more than just a comedian. He was a cultural icon, a radio personality, and an actor. Growing up in Roxbury, Massachusetts, in a modest household, he attended a predominantly white suburban school at West Roxbury High. Despite his athletic prowess in football, which earned him a scholarship, he chose to pursue the performing arts at Northeastern University. Before gracing the stage, he worked as a bouncer at a comedy club, gradually transitioning from holding doors for others to becoming one of the most promising comedians himself. Many of Patrice's controversial routines earned him criticism, especially for his views on women, often labeled as misogynistic and hostile. Yet, his delivery, coupled with his undeniable charisma, made even his most contentious material incredibly entertaining. He believed that his role as a comedian was to be funny and thought-provoking while staying true to himself, regardless of societal backlash. "I'm offended, should you be out?" He'd retort. "I am a fool. I'm calling you a fool. You don't know funny, I know funny." Patrice O'Neal was relentless in his pursuit of comedic freedom. He refused to conform to societal expectations, continuously pushing the boundaries of what was deemed acceptable. His refusal to back down, even in the face of opposition from both audiences and fellow comedians, was admirable. Jim Norton, a close friend and fellow comedian, described Patrice as someone who understood people and wasn't afraid to challenge them, even if it meant risking disapproval. He really understood people, and he was unafraid of the audience disagreeing with him, which was beautiful, Norton remarked. What made Patrice truly exceptional was his ability to connect with his audience on a deeper level. He wasn't just there to make people laugh, he wanted them to think differently, to question their own beliefs and prejudices. His shows were a roller coaster of emotions, as he skillfully navigated between humor and introspection, stirring up his audience's fears and desires. "I want to get people to believe in something but not be on a stage where it's like, should I?" he once said. "I just want to go, look, man, this is how I feel. And if I'm true to myself, you could go, damn, I feel that way too." Patrice's journey in comedy began in October 1992 at Estelle's in Boston, where he performed his first stand-up set. Over the next 6 years, he honed his craft in the Boston area under the stage name Bruiser O'Neal. It was during this time that he crossed paths with Jim Norton, forming a friendship that would endure throughout his career. In 1998, Patrice made the move to New York City, seeking greater opportunities in the comedy scene. He quickly made a name for himself, earning regular spots at iconic venues like the Comedy Cellar. Despite facing numerous challenges, including being kicked out of clubs for his uncompromising act, Patrice remained undeterred. He rejected offers to water down his material and instead sought validation abroad, performing in the UK and Europe. His refusal to conform only solidified his reputation as a comedian who refused to compromise his artistic integrity for commercial success. Throughout his career, Patrice O'Neal made a significant impact on both the comedy world and popular culture at large. His unapologetic approach to comedy challenged societal norms and sparked important conversations about race, gender, and politics. While his style may have been controversial, there's no denying the influence he had on his peers and audiences alike. As one fan put it, attending a Patrice O'Neal show was like being in hell with your woman. You couldn't laugh too hard, mate. Another remarked, Patrice O'Neal, one of my favorite stand-ups, could just riff off the crowd and be hilarious. In conclusion, Patrice O'Neal was more than just a comedian. He was a trailblazer who fearlessly tackled taboo subjects and challenged the status quo. His legacy lives on, not only through his comedy but also through the conversations he sparked and the lives he touched. As we reflect on his life and career, let us remember Patrice O'Neal as a true iconoclast, a comedian who dared to be different and left an indelible mark on the world of comedy. Patrice O'Neal's impact extended far beyond the stage. He wasn't just a comedian, he was a cultural commentator who fearlessly confronted societal taboos and norms. Born on December 17, 1969, in Roxbury, Massachusetts, Patrice Lumumba Malcolm O'Neal grew up in an environment that shaped his unique perspective on life and comedy. His upbringing in a modest household, juxtaposed with the predominantly white suburban school he attended, provided him with a lens through which he viewed the world, an unfiltered, raw perspective that would later become his trademark. Despite facing numerous challenges and setbacks, Patrice remained steadfast in his pursuit of comedic excellence. He refused to compromise his artistic integrity for commercial success, often at the expense of lucrative opportunities. His refusal to conform earned him both admiration and criticism, but Patrice remained true to himself, unapologetically embracing his role as a provocateur in an increasingly politically correct world. Patrice's comedy wasn't just about making people laugh, it was about challenging them to think differently and to question their own beliefs and biases. His razor-sharp wit and unfiltered honesty cut through the superficiality of everyday life, forcing audiences to confront uncomfortable truths and realities. Whether he was dissecting race relations, gender dynamics, or societal hypocrisy, Patrice's comedy was always thought-provoking and intellectually stimulating. One of the hallmarks of Patrice's comedy was his ability to connect with his audience on a deeply personal level. He didn't just tell jokes, he shared his experiences, his insights, and his vulnerabilities, inviting his audience into his world with open arms. His authenticity and vulnerability resonated with people from all walks of life, transcending cultural and societal boundaries. Patrice wasn't afraid to tackle controversial topics or challenge prevailing narratives. He understood the power of comedy to provoke thought and inspire change, and he wielded that power with precision and finesse. Whether he was critiquing the absurdities of modern life or skewering sacred cows, Patrice's comedy was always incisive and insightful, offering audiences a fresh perspective on the world around them. Despite his larger-than-life persona on stage, Patrice was known for his humility and generosity offstage. He was a mentor and friend to many aspiring comedians, offering guidance and support to those who sought it. His impact on the comedy community was immeasurable, and his legacy continues to inspire future generations of comedians to push the boundaries of their art form. In October 1992, Patrice took the stage at Estelle's in Boston for the first time, marking the beginning of a legendary career that would span nearly 2 decades. From humble beginnings in the Boston comedy scene to international stardom, Patrice never lost sight of who he was or where he came from. He remained true to his roots, always staying connected to his audience and never forgetting the struggles that shaped him. Patrice's journey was not without its challenges, and he faced more than his fair share of adversity along the way. From being kicked out of clubs for his controversial material to battling personal demons, Patrice's path was anything but easy. Yet, through it all, he remained resilient, using comedy as a form of therapy and self-expression. In November 2011, Patrice O'Neal's life was tragically cut short when he passed away at the age of 41. His untimely death sent shockwaves through the comedy community, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. But while Patrice may be gone, his legacy lives on through his timeless comedy and the countless lives he touched along the way. Today, Patrice O'Neal is remembered not only as one of the greatest comedians of his generation but also as a trailblazer who fearlessly challenged societal norms and conventions. His impact on the world of comedy and popular culture is undeniable, and his legacy continues to inspire and influence comedians and fans alike. In conclusion, Patrice O'Neal's legacy is a testament to the power of comedy to provoke thought, inspire change, and bring people together. He was more than just a comedian, he was a cultural commentator, a truth-teller, and a visionary whose impact will be felt for generations to come. As we reflect on his life and career, let us remember Patrice O'Neal as a true iconoclast, a comedian who dared to be different and left an indelible mark on the world of comedy.